saw the face of God and things happened. So if they are warning us a kind of premonition, then we should not take it lightly. We shouldn't, because things have happened. I remember some years back, there was some prophets who came, I should say prophets in quote, who came from out of Cameroon, and they came and they were like warning our country that they see danger coming ahead of time. And do you know that some of those prophets, they entered a train because they had finished their mission. They entered a train, that train that crashed in, I think, Eseka or something. Yes, yeah. They died, but they had finished their mission. And after that, we are seeing problems now. They warned us, but people took it trivially. So when bishops, men of God, who have sat in the presence of God, praying, maybe fasting and things like that, and they're telling us that they are seeing an impending doom that is coming, we shouldn't take it lightly. It is for us to do what? To repent and change our ways so that God can have mercy. What about Nineveh? We have read the Bible. Yeah. Nineveh, when Jonah went there and told the people of Nineveh, beware of the danger that is coming. He was a prophet. But we knew him as Jonah. He was a prophet. The people adhered to the prophetic instruction. Fowls, goat, all animal, everything. They fasted for 3 days and God changed his mind. So if we can listen to what the bishops are saying, we should not take it lightly. There's impending doom coming. Thank you.
Men of God have been talking since this problem started. They have been talking, and we see some of them have become very apolitical. Some of them are very strong in politics nowadays, and so on. Don't know who to believe now and who not to believe. So what's your take at this time? You know, where they have come again and they are warning the separatists, they are warning the government to sit up. What's your take about that?
I think the men of God, like my learned panelists mentioned, there are people that we don't question them. But permit me to say that these men of God were at the national, Grand National Dialogue, and they were given an opportunity to present vital issues. I heard some of them mimicking their words and trying to hide the truth. You know, the truth is, once you have been put at the limelight to defend the interests of a people and to save the nation, don't pretend. Because money is sweet, and in as much as money is sweet, you don't sell your conscience for money. Most of these men of God, you know, people have the belief today that most men of God are out for wealth. And that is why some people have reduced their offering they give in church. Because they feel that many men of God are not like the men of God yesterday.
Are they
that
giving
we
the
saw in the Bible.
to the men of
No,
God?
it is because people are now deviating most men of God are now deviating church offering for their private gains. And I am not here to really discuss on the issue of how men of God use their money. But I am saying that I am referring back to these men of God, especially people like Karnatumi. He headed a commission at the Grand National Dialogue. Yeah. And as a head of a commission, when the commission converged to bring the final resolutions, I expected them to really push forward the argument of what they saw in the field. I will not tell you like men of God are people. I realize that most of these men of God are people who dine with both parties because they are neutral and they know who feels what and they know how the other man feels. Now they can better present the argument of the two parties because they meet with these two people and try to know how they feel. But what I am saying is they should also be open. They should also be open because this argument that we are arguing here is somehow covered. They are saying doom. Which nature of doom? Is it that they are saying that the crisis is coming up again very strongly? And if the crisis is coming up again very strongly, I push back the argument to them. When they went to the Grand National Dialogue and they were given the knife and the yam to really push forward resolutions, substantial resolutions that will solve this crisis. What did they do?
Mr. Item
what did they do? Most of them were on media here and there being interviewed, and they were talking of how things are fine.
They gave more than 400 pages of maybe suggestions to the government, to the Prime Minister, more than 400 pages. Then they still participated and talked and talked. Are you saying that they were just babbling?
They were not babbling. As if you go in between the lines of their resolutions. Yeah. And at times, what I used to say, like the last time that I told one of my panelists, that I don't believe in manifestos and things that are written on paper. I believe much on the physical outing of the person presenting a paper before you. And that is why I watched the Grand National Dialogue with dismay. because the Anglophones particularly are feeling a lot of pinch. And when people went in Yaoundé, they felt that the zone is safe. They felt that they are in heaven. They started compromising and started making statements that did not really reflect the actual issue on ground. So we are crying to Cameroonians. Let me make a plea. We are crying to Cameroonians on both parties that this issue of crisis has never. We have labored a lot. We have suffered a lot. We have died a lot. We should please kindly give peace a chance. And I want to call on the government as well as the separatists to really come to a compromise so that they will say, you realize that even during the Picon line, it's because the French and the British did not agree to join me and Minister Cameroon. Yes. That is why they tore off Cameroon. And today we are still on the same argument where the British and France were. We should come to a compromise and
Mr. Paul Bertrand, if whether we take it a prophecy or whatsoever, when all these problems started, we had the barrister Bala and the rest who talked and said impending doom comes the way of Cameroon and Cameroonians, and now today we see. Don't you think that these men of God are talking about, because even laymen were in that meeting, don't you think that it's high time the government and separatists sit up?
I will dot 3 I's and cut 3 T's before I conclude. Being that the same people who said that, who are on this panel defending the House of Chiefs with wrong candidates, are saying that the House of Chiefs will succeed. Before Agboola was adopted and taken to Nkonongi, he promised in Bamenda that this one that I'm begging for federation and you are refusing, very soon or sooner or later, you people will present federation and the people will reject it. The epistoral conference in Bamenda wrote several letters and the government gave a deaf ear to it. So I also think that these pastors, which we have for once respected because of the moral upbringings we obtained in our Sunday school classes and later on in the big churches, are beginning to fade away.
The big man church.
Yes, because these pastors, they don't hold that moral value which their predecessors preached before.
But if you read the Bible very well, we have no right to, as the Bible declares, if God has chosen somebody, we have no right to judge that person.
Yes. Now, the fundamentals, in the Catholic, we know that probably they are called. These other Pentecostal churches around, how are they called? Through 6 months orientation and refreshment courses. So some of them, Mr. Mojo, let me land by saying here that we want Cameroon to move forward wherever the contribution comes from. But honestly, I don't rely again on the on the morals of our
we are out of time, Mr. Njomo.
For one reason or the other, that
your take about these 2 subtopics that we have just.
Yes, Mr. Moderator, the letter before, just to say that about the men of God, they are good gamblers. The word might be very strong, but it depicts the volume of all the mimic that they have been doing. And at a time when human life is claimed and the blood bus that has been established in the northwest and the southwest is on a rise, I think we should be able to denounce that with last energy. I think this is one of the rare moments that I have been able to take a stand against the men of God, especially those of the Roman Catholic, because we know how they are romancing the dictatorial regime and encouraging the resolution of the Anglophone crisis through the militarized way. Reasons can be established that they always answer present to the call of the regime each time they are solicited to render a pacific move to them, knowing well fully that they have established their military base in the northwest and the southwest, and that they are using the imperial system to solve the problem and refusing dialogue. Once that has been said, I equally want to come back on the discussion that was said here before as fallout of the monologue that took place in Yaoundé, to tell you that we, the Anglophone, went there a sheet on our trouser, and all we could come back with was the hailing that is suffocating us. Because the truth about it is that every meaningful Anglophone is regretting our participation into that game. And the regional election that is upcoming, I started smiling when I heard that there were some a little game play on the head of the chief. No, that is just what they are being exposed. That is what we should expect from them now. I took my time before coming for this platform to go through the list of all those who were accepted, and one after another I went to Google their name and see what they have done for Cameroonian. All I could do as contribution to the land was in relation to the CPTN. So I want to tell you that we are, maybe the government have not yet noticed that with this COVID-19 a lot of things will change. Even if you take the name of those that are alleged to create impact in the region, you will see that there are people that are throughout. I mean, almost all the names that I Google, they are only related. Very few are even holding social media accounts. And I want to ask you, where would they be carrying their actions? I want to see the percentage of young people among them. There are very few. And I'm telling you, my brother, that is why we wash our hands.
That's why some of those files have been rejected, because they wanted a kind of they wanted youths and women to be involved.
It's terrible, my brother. It's terrible.
So we can see that Elecam is doing just what they are supposed to do.
That is why we've even called for a reform. That if that body of Elecam was consensus, then you will never have a situation where it is only the agents that are imposing on the youth and the women.
Okay, we are ending the program, Mr. Lingondo Joseph Mwambo. Looking at all the topics we have discussed, what's your last maybe words on the various topics?
Well, we crave for a change. Yeah. Our desire is to have a change. And the change can only come from the changing of our mindsets. And our mindsets, we must start just as Mr. Siri said, people who they have given them an opportunity to serve for many years, they have not changed. You cannot bring them again. You cannot expect that they will change at this time. As the normal adage go, a bended stick cannot be straightened. So the young people who are there now, they should give them room. This is a government where old people have decided to remain in power for donkey years, and they are tired, and they don't want to make a change. They don't want to give the young people, youth, a place for them to bring change. So my desire is that they should give a try to the youth. They should give the try. We are training students, we are teaching people, and every time we are still in the same platform. We don't want to change. We don't want to give room for other younger people to come on. And as such, it makes it pretty difficult. How will you be able, after you have trained my brother here, the Pope, and Mr. Cyril, you've trained them until they are in their 30s now, and you are not giving them a room for them to exploit the wisdom that you have taught them. So give the room for the younger people. I think that will bring the solution of this country. Thank you.
Mr. Paul Bertrand.
Well, this is one of the finest academicians I've sat by. I've benefited from his knowledge and wisdom, that truly the youth have a place. If more of them could think in this light, then truly the next generation of Cameroon will be successful.
But do you see the youth serious?
Of course, the youths are very serious. The youth of Cameroon are very serious, very
entrepreneur. We are joking on this platform, Mr. Moderator. That is an insult to some of us.
That's
are very serious, very intelligent, very
entrepreneurial. Look at the research that they are even doing to come here.
We need to
These are young people, legal minds.
We are very hardworking. And it's just that we don't have a space. The oil should give us a space to showcase, to move things forward.
What can be done to make these older people know that it is our time, or this is the time of the year?
There are other sectors we should not uphold on political area. For example, in the business sector, what is killing the youth not to forge ahead is the tax that have been imposed on the youth. The government we should tax our brain instead of our citizens, and live a way to see that our youth come into help the society.
What can be done so that the young people can assume their position in governance? They should stop bribing university students. The highest level of bribing starts in the university, when you pay 50,000 at the end of the year, they give you 50,000. I know people at the level of PhD that cannot use their brain to make 500 francs a week. I swear to God. Why? Because they are brainwashed. They cannot. When I look at them, I weep.
But we know in other universities,
What is happening?
when you reach a certain level, you
what
are
the
being
DI
paid.
government is doing.
Okay.
What they do actually is that they make you think that it's only through education that you can succeed.
Okay.
And your teacher is teaching you with a note that he produced in 2003. And every day he comes to you and talk like a prophet, you think that he's wise. No! Go on the internet and listen to people who are talking for conferences for 3 hours without any paper, and they're talking about current things. I watch professor give interview and I sit like that, so I cry. Those are some of the reasons why I've not cared to go back to school. Because for me, succeeding in life is able to fit in your own generation. And most of the people have been taught things of the previous generation. And where would they exercise? When they look in the society, they have nothing to fit. I'm not here at this very moment of back to school denouncing that education is not good. But I want to revoke the spirit on which people are going to school today. If at all, is to come back and give the same theory that we have acquired. Better we stop the school here.
Zanjomo, thank you for coming.
That's why Tico University is coming with professionalization.
Oh, that's my
ensure that
I hope after this,
younger people now come there and learn professional aspects.
Mr. Anjomo, thank you for coming.
I think it's always a pleasure to serve the nation.
Mr.
Dear young people, we want to remind you that the only thing you can do for us is to support us on social media. On YouTube, we are CMTVBuzz. Go there and leave your comments. So
Mr.
that
Apo Betran,
we are together.
thank you so very much.
Well, I will first of all thank this platform for bringing us together from different angles and different professional lives to come and contribute in nation building. Thank you to panelists.
I hope you'll be there next time again.
I'm so elated. I'm grateful for being on set with legal minds and very intelligent young men who are dynamic. I will be very happy if I have another privilege to share my views. Thank you.
Dear viewers, this is where we come to the end of today's program. I've been moderator Mwambo William. Well, thank you so very much for being with us. See you next time.